Welcome
to the joy of coding.
Hello and welcome to episode 166 of the Joy of Coding. My name is Mike Conley. We're going to be hacking on some Firefox stuff today. Hold on, let me grab my drink. I forgot it. It is February 13th, 2019. I'm going to be digging into some media code, the video stuff, the stuff that plays videos in Firefox. I hope you're going to enjoy that. We'll see how it goes. Let's get started. What are we looking at? Well, right now we are looking at the agenda. Today is February 13th, like I said. A quick reminder, no plan survives breakfast, even though I say this every time, but I want you to know, especially for the new folks who might be watching, there is no script really behind this series. I don't really know what I'm, like the stuff I'm going to be typing out, the hacking I'm actually going to be doing is all kind of off the cuff. I'm coming up with it off the top of my head. It's not pre-scripted. I'm going to be hacking on Firefox like I would at my desk. So that might mean that things will go wrong, I'll get stuck, things might go sideways, and that's okay. So that's my way of telling you. So no plan survives breakfast is my way of saying that things could go wrong, and that's okay. The second thing I want to bring up is the episode guide. Well, first of all, the agenda. The agenda that we're looking at is something that you have access to. If you're watching this on Air Mozilla, check out the handouts to my right, or your left, my right, my left, your right, who knows. And if you are watching this on YouTube, check out the video description down below. And if you're watching this on Twitch, then I'm going to drop the link to the Twitch chat, or link to the agenda in the Twitch chat right now. There it is. There it is. There's the agenda. There's also a link inside the agenda to rate the episode. And that's also in all of the same places that I mentioned. So handouts in Air Mozilla, video description on YouTube. And please fill out the form and rate the episode. I do this every episode. Each episode has its own form. Let me know what you think of the series and what I can do to make the series better for you. What did you like? What did you not like? What did you want? What are things you want more of? What are things you want less of? And I'll do my best to accommodate you. And in each of these, I think I've been doing it for about a year now. In each of these forms, there's a photo of me at the end making a funny face. So they're unique photos. Each week it's something different. Collect them all. So that's a thing. Just as a thank you for submitting the form, you can collect them all. Okay, so before we continue, the episode guide. We have an episode guide. Ooh. Video output is low, apparently, on YouTube. But maybe that's because I've actually got it all open in the background here, and I shouldn't be having YouTube in the background while I'm actually streaming. Let me see. Apparently I'm not dropping any frames, but on YouTube apparently the stream health is quite poor. That's no good. Stream health. Well, hopefully that fixes itself up soon. I'd really rather not have a stuttery stream. So let me continue. The episode guide. This is something you have access to as well. There's a link to it in the agenda. This is a completely viewer-driven episode guide. We've got up to episode 164, and the episode guides have links to the videos as well as the agenda for that episode. Some of the topics I covered, maybe links to some notes and some links to handy things and links to how you can rate the episode as well. If you feel like contributing the episode guide, like maybe adding episodes or adding addenda, corrections, maybe branching off something I had mentioned and you want to like elaborate a little bit, feel free to send me a pull request if you're not sure how to do that. There are links here in the agenda on how you can do that. And while I'm here, I might as well take a look at the, kind of making this a habit, looking at the pull request that is sitting here from SmurfD right, like 2 days ago. Episode 165 from last week showed up here in the old queue, so I'm going to merge this in. Let me just check it real quick. The links look good. Air Mozilla, Evernote agenda, the topics that I covered, new tab animations. That's nice. Yeah, he's referring to those. And new about config page. Yep, that all looks pretty good to me. So I'm going to merge this in. Thank you very much, SmurfD. as usual, your contributions are valued. So I'll say thanks. Always say thank you to your contributor because you value them. And I value SmurfD. Okay, what do I want to do today? Well, if you recall, last week we were working on designing a mechanism that will allow us to move, to have a copy of the frames that are decoded for video in 2 places at once. And there's a reason for that. It's because I'm working on something called picture-in-picture, a picture-in-picture feature for video. And actually, part of that feature has landed. It's behind a pref right now. If you go to About Config and you look for picture-in-picture, there's this pref called media.videocontrols picture-in-picture enabled. So let me put that in the notes here. If you set that to true and then you go to a page with some video, like I'm going to go to here, there's this MDN page that has some HTML5 video. And this is still very much a work in progress. That's why it's behind the pref, and it's only in Nightly right now, and it'll hold to Nightly till it's ready. But for now, if I were to loop this video, so because it's only 5 seconds long, so I'm going to loop this video on MDN. I can right-click it, and there's an option, picture-in-picture, which opens up the video in a separate frame. Now, it's not working exactly right just yet. You'll notice it's frozen right now. I'm not entirely certain why. I think whenever, oh there, now it's working. So the current mechanism is still quite busted. The thing I'm using to like copy the frames from one to the other, not so good. And so that's what I'm working on right now, is a better mechanism to copy the frames from one place to the other. And so if you were to close this tab, the picture-in-picture window goes away. That's on Mac OS. That's the only way it goes away right now. On Windows, you can right-click it and close it. Like right-click it and close is one of the items in the context menu. So very much a work in progress still. And so let's take a look at the API that we're going to be trying to implement. So what's really nice about this is that I came up with a design partially during the episode last Wednesday, but also I thought a little bit about it more and I elaborated a bit on it on the day after last stream, and I broke down what I wanted to do into a couple of points here, which we'll read soon. And then I got some feedback from some of my peers, and graphics people and media people are liking it. So that's good. I've got buy-in. I've got buy-in from some relevant like domain experts, graphics and media, because that's exactly what I'm tinkering around in. I'm tinkering around in the intersection between graphics and media and video playback. So I've got buy-in and awareness from people from both camps, so that's good. A question is coming in from PTibZH. Hi, what are the possible applications for this feature? And another James is like, thumbs up. And my answer is, well, what are the possible applications? There's something that I didn't show when I demonstrated it here on Mac OS because it doesn't work on Mac OS yet, but it works on Windows. And there's a special property of the window that opens up holding the new video, and that property is that it's always on top. That means if you switch applications, like if you were to switch to MS Word or something, the video player is still on top of all your other windows. So the idea is, in your web browser, you can pop out video and have it run, and then switch to another application and have the video like playing in the corner or something, so you can keep an eye on whatever it is. A Twitch stream maybe. Maybe you're watching Joy of Coding and you want to watch it while you work in your editor, and you can have me in the corner blabbering on. That would be possible with the picture-in-picture feature. This is something that is shipped in competing browsers, including, I think Safari shipped it first, Google Chrome has it, and Opera has it. I'm not sure if Vivaldi has it. Probably Vivaldi has it. And so another James goes, dope, Twitch does that on mobile Android. Yes, this is strictly, we're implementing this for desktop for now, and it's just the starting point. We're just getting our feet wet here but a start's a start. So like I mentioned, we got buy-in from the graphics and media folk. So this is the plan for the API I'm planning on implementing and what I'm hoping we can do some of today. And PTibZH goes, cool, thanks for the answer. And I say, no problem. So let me break this. Let's break this down. Let's read what we're gonna do. So in my original plan, I said I wanted to add two new private members to HTML video element, mCloneSource and mCloneTarget, and then some protected setters for those members to assert that when setting one, the other is null. Let's see. And then because we're going to have two video elements referring to one another, we need to make sure that we don't create a cycle in memory, because we use ref counting to do our memory management. We count the number of references, and if two things are referring to one another, that's called a cycle. So that means that if other things aren't referring to those two things, but they're holding references to each other, you've got a cycle, and you can leak memory that way. We have something called a cycle collector, which detects whenever these cycles exist in memory and like breaks the cycle so that the elements can be released and you can reclaim your memory. And in order to register with the cycle collector, there are some incantations we have to use, so we'll try and do that today. And then I want to introduce a new video element WebIDL method called cloneFrames2, which takes a target video element to send frames to. So let us, and then finish decoder setup. So this is the part where I'm like, hey, after we've set up the clone target, we want to make it so that if a new decoder is ever set up, we can continue sending frames to the new video container, the secondary video container. I don't know if we're going to get there today. I want to sort of do the memory management stuff and make that solid. So that's whenever we if either of the video elements are ever removed from the DOM, I want to clear the secondary frame container. I want to clear all the things. Okay. Okay, so let's worry about memory management first. So let me pull up my notes. You can follow along inside my notes. I've got oh, I didn't actually link to my notes. Let me link to my notes. That's this one here. So let me link. Oh, I don't have shareable links. So this was broken last week too. Sorry about that, folks. Let me hook up the notes so that you can follow me along in the agenda or in the as I add things to my notes. Let me update last week's too, because I clearly wanted to add notes and I never did. So last week's are fixed. So if you're looking at the agenda, if you reload the page, you should have this notes link, and then you can take a look at my notes so far on this bug, this privileged API, and it will update as I add new content. It's got this nice diagram that sort of breaks down the very complicated mechanism that we use to bring video frames to you, our users. Whew. So at the very bottom of my notes. Yeah, I also want to. My machine is really busy. I want to find out what's taking on the CPU. I'm gonna guess it's OBS, but I just want to make sure. Yeah, OBS is taking up a lot of CPU power. Bit coming off of nightly, but it's mostly OBS. Okay. So in my notes here, yeah, I started to sort of map this out. Add clone target and clone source ref pointers to HTML video element with cycle collection macros. Now, I actually might want to do this inside HTML media element simply because that's, I think, where we're going to end up putting a lot of our logic. Media element is the parent class of HTML video element, and unfortunately, there's a bit of technical debt where HTML media element is very fat. It's where a lot of the logic is, and HTML video element is very thin. HTML audio element is also very thin. So I think HTML media element is ultimately where our logic's going to go. Clone target and clone source with cycle collection macros. We'll do that. Add setters for mclone target and mclone source. These should assert that if setting mclone target, mclone source doesn't is null pointer, and if mclone source is set, mclone target is null pointer. And the reason for that is we don't want something that is a clone to be cloned. We don't want to be able to like create a tree of clones. It's just like a one-to-one thing. You either have you're either no clone or you have a clone. But if you have a clone, that clone can't have a clone. So it's one-to-one. So we'll add those assertions and also assert that we're a video element. Because I think there is a mechanism inside HTML media element, which is like is video. Yeah, is video. Let's take a look and see how that's implemented. Media element.h. Yeah, that's a virtual method that's overridden by the subclass. Right. So HTML audio element, I wonder, is video. Oh, I guess it doesn't, maybe that's what I can do. Audio element. That makes sense. So it's like we've got this default value in the virtual method, and then is video in HTML video element, I'll bet you, is told to return true. It overrides and returns true. Okay, that makes sense. So in theory, we could like add some hooks inside HTML media element and then put the logic for doing various things like setting up the secondary container inside HTML video element, and that might be better. But let's see here. Screen clock. Virtual. All these virtuals. Data loaded. Okay. Lots of virtuals. And I don't think you can you have like can't remember. Can you have virtual members? You can have methods certainly that are virtual. Meh. Let's not worry about it. Don't worry about that ping. That just means my computer's being a little slow because of OBS. SmurfD says, thanks. I appreciate your stream as well. That diagram over how this video stuff works is like a spider's web. No clone your own. Futurama reference. Yeah, exactly. Guess whose grandpa this video is? Isn't it obvious? You are!
You are?
There's a little bit of Futurama there for you. I do wish OBS would calm down. I don't know what I can do to make it calm down, but meh. All right, so let's not worry about the where to put the code just yet. Let's add the members to HTML media element just to get us started. So I'm gonna say ref pointer, and these are private, right? Am I in the private? Private. These are probably private. I just need to make sure. I really wish this editor would tell me if I'm in a private block or not. Oh boy, I'm in the protected block. Oh, which kind of makes sense because the subclasses might want to touch them. So here, what I'll do is there are some ref pointers up here that might make more sense as a place to put things. Com pointer, pending events, ref pointer. Let's put it here. Ref pointer, HTML video element, mclone target, mclone source. Let's add some documentation. For video elements, we can clone the decoded, we can clone the frames being played to a secondary video element. That video element, we hold a reference to the video. If we're doing that, we hold a reference to the video element we're cloning to in mclone target. Please don't set this directly. Use set clone target instead. If this video is the clone target of another video element, then mclone source points to that originating element, video element. Please don't set this directly. Use set clone source instead. And so then we can have some virtual methods like set clone source. Do that up here. Virtual void set clone target const HTML video element a clone target. Now I'll do the kind of like the is video, where I'll have like a default value const set clone target, where I'll like moz unreachable. Is that what I want? Moz unreachable. Moz unreachable. Because we don't want anything to ever. Moz assert Moz crash cloning is only supported for HTML video elements. Cloning supported on HTML video elements. And then set clone source. Maybe I'll make it the full word. Clone source A, clone source. Set clone target. Set clone source. And then HTML video element can override void set clone. What is it? Override. Set clone source. And I'm gonna switch to the right repository and get ready to build some of this stuff in a sec. Set clone target, set clone source, and then we need to actually implement it. So inside HTML video element .cpp, inside under release video wake lock, let's put it here. Void HTML video element set clone target, const HTML video element a clone target, and then source. M clone target equals a clone target. M clone source equals a clone source. So now we've ensured that we're videos. Should assert that the clone target unbound from tree. Is that protected? Yeah, it's protected. Moz assert not can't clone a video. Set the clone target to disconnected video element. Clone source. Okay. So we've added the ref pointers, setters. Should assert if, oh, and we also need to assert Moz assert not m clone source. Can't set can't make a clone, can't make clone a video element that is already a clone. Can't clone a video element that is already a clone. And then clone source click. Can't browse assert. Okay. So now we've got these things pointing at each other, or we in theory could. So let's build this. See what it thinks. Now we have to do our cycle collection stuff. And then let us, here's what I'm hoping to do. I want to do some manual testing after we set the stuff up to ensure that our cycle collection will work. That if we have two, first of all, that things, put a dot after video element. Like put a period. Oh, got it. Sure, can do. I want to put 2 videos in a document and then try to set one to be the clone target of the other. Like I'll clone frames to, so they should point to each other. Then I'm going to remove one from the DOM and then I'm going to remove both from the DOM, and they should both get released. They should both go away. I want to ensure that happens. I want to make sure that we crash if I ever attempt to put to clone one to a video that's not in the document. I also want to crash if we're going to clone from a video that's not in the document, both cases. And then let's see. And those are the cases. Now, I don't actually know if I want to return. So we crash here in the bad case, but in release we wouldn't actually crash. So what I might want to do is if a clone target dot m unbound from tree and not m clone source return true. So I'll make this a bool, not a void. Same here. We'll say if not a clone source dot m unbound from tree and not m clone target, and then over here we're going to make these return bool, and then over here we're going to make these return bool. Save. So cancel, rebuild. That way we can, in the release case, instead of, because we won't be crashing, instead of going into like undefined behavior, I'll just return false, and then the I'll make the caller error out. So at least we can continue running. Now, how are these incantations going to work for the cycle collector? Now, the last time I did this, I did something like on global window inner. I think I had something on here about like before unload counters or something. think I added M tab child is what I did to the global window inner. There's a bug. Yeah, this bug a long time ago. CPU, CPU, add a passive for unload, update, wait for the browser. No, not that one. Whoopsie daisy, too far, too far. What's happening? So yeah, I added an M tab child, and I'm saying cycle collection traverse the tab child, and then unlink the tab child. And maybe that was all I needed to do. Like, if you have a member, there's probably like a cycle element. There's probably like a cycle collection block. So let's see if we can find one for. Yeah. HTML media element. And what was the previous one? The callback. Okay, so we actually want, it's the media element that we want to traverse. I want to say clone target. Oh my goodness. OBS. I still haven't identified a machine I can run OBS on instead of this one so that I can build faster. Normally building does not take this long. My machine is just really busy both building and running OBS right now. So I want to do the same thing as I did up here, except I want to unlink. I think that's it. Clone source. Clone target. That should be enough in terms of the incantations to actually, I think that'll be enough if I remember correctly. That's all I needed to do to say, hey, these are related and we need to make them part of the cycle collection graph. Okay. What's next? I'll bet you once this refreshes, you'll see like clang, like all up in here. Once the CPU has a chance to service, I'll bet activity monitor is a really, really low priority process. Well, let's pretend all of that worked. So what I can do is I can commit that work in a separate terminal. Let's take a look at the patch. And then what's next? Because I can't test it right now, but I can write other things while I wait. So what's going to be the next thing? Now that we have clone target and clone source, I need to make it, if we unbind from the tree, and we have a mclone target clear the secondary frame container, and then clear mclone target. To null pointer. If we unbind from the tree and we have a mclone source, tell the mclone target to clear the secondary frame container, and then set mclone target to null pointer. Clone source to null pointer. And that should take care of the lifetime stuff. And then we want to add a video frame container, secondary container to video sync. Add a method to media decoder, state machine to add a secondary video frame container to the video sync. And then, so this will take care of the decoded video case. And then we have like the media stream case, because there are two different types of videos: decoded videos and videos that are being streamed from something else, like WebRTC or something. So in the media stream case, add a hook. I need to think about that. It's like if we're playing video already, so create a new method, attach clone decoder, create a new clone, attach clone to decoder, create a new method, attach clone to stream. If we're playing a video already, call attach clone to decoder if we're using decoded video. Oh man, I gotta back up a little bit. I had a new web IDL method called, what did I call it in the bug? I think I had a clone frames to. Frames to. Oh, here's our patch. Here's our first patch in the series. Whoops, didn't mean to open Slack. Nope. Don't want to do that. Want to be distracted. Slacked. So this is the first patch in the series. Oh my goodness, this build is killing me. Bug such and such. Add clone target and source members to HTML media element and setter on HTML video element. Okay, that's the first patch. So then the next thing we're going to do is we're going to create a new web IDL method called clone frames 2 on HTML video element.webidl. Assert both videos are attached to the DOM. Throw error if not. Assert we can set both we can set both as the assert we can set the target source nodes on the video elements appropriately. Throw error if not in the release case. And then that's as far as I want to get there until we do the next thing. So that'll be like part 2. And then part 3 is we're going to create a new method called attach clone to decoder on HTML video element on HTML media element, no, video element. These are overrides. Maybe make them overrides. First, create this as a virtual no-op method on HTML media element. So same thing here. Whoops, daisy. Where did that come from? Where'd I go? Okay. And then what'll they do? make clone frames to call attach clone to decoder or attach clone to media stream if video is already playing. If not, if video is not playing, this will be called later. Okay. Make select resource wrapper in HTML media element attach clone. Maybe it shouldn't be attach clone to decoder. Maybe it should be like maybe begin clone. HTML media element. Make this multiplex on whether or not we're a media stream or not, or a decoded stream. And behave accordingly. Okay. Make clone frames call maybe begin clone. I don't know why it hops near the top. On paste. Maybe in clone if video is already playing. If video is not playing, this will be called later. Make select resource wrapper in HTML media element call maybe begin clone after selecting the resource we're about to play. Make maybe begin clone multiplex as follows. Decoded video case, add video frame container, video sync. Okay, so I have to do something else first. Add m secondary container to video sync.h and a method to media decoder state machine. I know I wrote below to add a secondary video frame container to the video sync. So I'm just gonna erase all that down here, and then make maybe begin clone set the secondary video container on the media decoder state machine if we're a decoded stream. If we're a media stream, have it add the secondary frame container as another output. Because I think we can do that. Add output container, add output, stream, add video output. Yeah. Add video output. Hello. Sorry about that. So my stream completely crashed at this point, and I have a feeling this was due to the fact that OBS was consuming too many resources and my build was taking too long, or something. I kernel panicked, effectively. So the stream ended there, and I'm going to hopefully have this fixed for next time. Sorry about that. So, see you next week. Take care. Bye-bye. The joy of code. See ya.